Wondering what am I doing with these? So these are fridge magnets. So whenever we travel and visit new places, we tend to collect them and keep them as memory, isn't it? Now what happens when we take these fridge magnets near our fridge? Now they kind of get attracted to each other and they stay there for long, isn't it? Now that's the magnetic property of a magnet. Now in this lesson today, we are going to talk about something very interesting. So we are going to talk about the magnetic effects of current. So far we have learnt about the electric effects of current. Magnetic effects? That sounds quite interesting. In fact, it is very interesting. So here I introduce you to magnetic effects of current class 10th science, and we are going to cover this entire video in 4 video series. In fact, we'll cover the entire lesson in 4 video. So do watch the entire video series. I am Roshni from Learner Hub, the free learning platform where you get to study anything, everything from anywhere absolutely for free at learnerhub.com. So are we all ready? Let's get started.
So let us see how did this idea of magnetism came into picture. From where did this magnetism actually evolve? It happened a long time back, somewhere around Turkey, that the shepherd found that there were some rocks which attracted nails. They discovered it by chance. I mean, they used to go there and suddenly they observed that there were some special kind of rocks which has the capacity to attract nails. So what happened during that time, there was nothing called magnetism actually existed. So people thought that those rocks were magical, and that is, it was a magical effect that they attract nails, and they called those rocks as magnesia, because they thought they were magical rocks. So the magical rocks were named as magnesia. Later, with the development of science, scientists were able to discover this phenomenon of magnetism, wherein a substance has a capability of attracting certain materials towards itself. So later, magnetism was developed. And then it was found that whenever a magnet is left to itself, it always aligns itself in the north-south direction. So with this much idea on magnetism, it was found again that somewhere during those early years, some Chinese war took place, and during that war, this property of magnets was extremely useful. That is, it helps us, it aligns itself in the north-south direction. So this property of magnet was used in order to find out the direction. During the Chinese wars, the ship used compass needle, the magnetic compass which I was talking about in the previous slide. So they used those magnetic compass which helped it to point towards the direction. Right? So these were similarly, in one of those earlier days, there was some king who was able to win a war because of the use of this magnet. I mean, if you look at the first picture, the chariot had a small magnet attached to it which pointed towards the direction where it had to attack. So these kind of things were there in those earlier days, and that is how gradually magnetism evolved. So in this way, gradually people could discover something called as a bar magnet. So what was a bar magnet? So now, why are we studying this lesson? I mean, why are we starting this lesson with bar magnet? Even though the lesson says magnetic effects of current. In order to understand, in our previous lesson, we talked about heating effects of current, that how an electric current passing through a wire can dissipate heat, and how can that heat be utilized for so many practical purposes. So in this case, we will see that how an electric current passing through a wire can produce magnetic effects, and how those magnetic effects are helpful to us. So in order to understand that, we should first have some idea about magnets. What are magnets? What are the terminologies related to a magnet? Only then we can understand the magnetic effects of electric current, right? So that is what we are trying to do now. So what was a bar magnet? It was nothing but a rectangular object that has a magnetic field. So what is magnetic field now? So whenever I talk about a magnet, there is a magnetic field associated with it. right? This magnetic field is nothing but the area surrounding the magnet within which you can feel the magnetic effects of that object. That means, for example, if you bring some nails near this bar magnet, what will happen? The nails will get attracted towards the magnet. Right? Now let us suppose that you have kept the bar magnet in one room and you have kept the nails in some other room. Will the nails get attracted by the magnet? No, it will not be. Why? Because the bar magnet has its magnetic field. That means there is a certain region of space around that bar magnet within which the magnetic effects can be felt. That means only if the nail is situated within that magnetic field, only then it will experience that magnetic attraction. So if it is far beyond that magnetic field, then it will not feel any attraction. So that means a bar magnet was nothing but a rectangular object that has a magnetic field, and it had two poles. One is a north pole and the other one is a south pole. So now we will see some of the properties related to a bar magnet. The first property which was observed, when magnetism was initially discovered, as I mentioned you, those Shepherd, they observed that some rocks attracted nails. So from there magnetism evolved, and then bar magnet was discovered, and then scientists studied so many things. They performed so many experiments with the bar magnet and they came up with these properties of bar magnet. So the first property was that a bar magnet always aligns itself in the north-south direction when suspended freely. That means you just leave it on its own. If you hang it with a thread, it will always align itself in the north-south direction. And this is what I mentioned in the first slide, that this property was extremely useful in determining direction, because whenever you leave it on its own, it will always point in the north-south direction. So you will get an idea about all the directions. The next property was that north or south pole cannot be isolated. Any magnet has got two poles. One is a north pole and the other one is a south pole. So what is that north pole and what is that south pole? Now, as I mentioned in the previous slide, that whenever the bar magnet is left to itself, it aligns itself in the north-south direction. So that one end of the magnet which aligns itself towards the geographic north, that is known as the north pole. Similarly, the other end which aligns itself towards the geographic south, that is known as the south pole. Right? So that is how we define the north pole and south pole of a magnet. So the second property that was found was that we can never isolate the north pole and south pole of the magnet. We cannot, if we think that, okay, I will cut the magnet from between, so I will get north pole and south pole separately. That is never possible. What happens if you cut the magnet into two parts? What will happen? You will get different magnets again. That means if this magnet is cut into two parts, you will get two magnets. This will become north pole, this will become south pole. Again, this will become north pole and this will become south pole. So similarly, if you look at this scenario, here it is shown that the magnet is cut into 5 pieces. So if you cut it into 5 pieces, what happens? You get 5 different magnets, each with a north and a south pole. So you cannot isolate a north pole or a south pole. The third property being like poles repel and unlike poles attract each other. That means if you bring unlike poles, for example, here you have taken two magnets where the south pole and the north poles are towards each other. So what will happen? Since they are unlike poles, that is south-north will attract each other. Whereas if you bring two like poles near each other, they will repel each other. That means north-north will repel each other, south-south will repel each other, but north-south will attract each other. So that is what we say, like poles repel and unlike poles attract. Fourth property, not all materials are attracted by the magnet. This is also a very important property. Many of us may think that, okay, if a magnet has some property by which it can attract objects, then it should attract everything. So in that case, if the fourth property is that not all materials are attracted by the magnet. Many of us might think that, okay, if magnet is an object which has got some property to attract other objects within its magnetic field, then in that case, if there is a magnet which is present in the room, it should be able to attract any object which is present inside the room. Let us suppose you have your table, chairs, wooden furnitures, in fact human beings, it should be able to attract everything. Is it like that? It is not like that. Magnet can attract only specific set of materials, and those materials are often known as magnetic materials. So we will talk about those kind of materials later. I mean, that is not our topic of discussion right now. So right now we just want to get some rough idea about what are magnets. So what all did we study about properties of magnet? The first thing is, a magnet, whenever is left to itself, it will always align itself in the north-south direction. One very important application of that is the magnetic compass needle. We use it in many different places for navigation purposes, that is to find directions. Secondly, we can never isolate a north pole or a south pole. If a magnet is cut into two pieces, we get two different magnets again. Third property, like poles repel and unlike poles attract each other. Fourth property, not all materials are attracted by the magnet. A magnet attracts only specific set of materials, as you can see here. There are so many objects present here, but it attracts only some specific materials. So now we will talk about magnetic field. What do we mean by magnetic field? Well, as I mentioned before, it is nothing but the region around the magnet where the magnetic exerts its influence, where the magnet exerts its influence. That means if you place some object beyond this magnetic field, it will not get. For example, you have one bar magnet placed on a table, you have some nails within the magnetic field of that magnet. So what happens? The nails get attracted by the magnet. But if you place those nails far away from the magnet, far beyond the scope of its magnetic field, in that case the nails will not be attracted by the magnet. So magnetic field is nothing but the region around the magnet where the magnet exerts its influence. So now an experiment was performed. What was done? A bar magnet was taken, as you can see in this picture. A bar magnet was taken and lot of iron filings was taken. What was iron filings? Iron filings are nothing but, you can imagine them as dust of iron, right? So normally a magnet attracts iron. You would have seen those iron nails and all. When you bring them near a magnet, it gets attracted. Those small iron filings, that means iron in powdered form almost. So you take all those iron filings and you place them over that bar magnet. So what was seen? That the iron filings arranged themselves in a specific pattern, as you can see in this figure. So if you look at this figure very carefully, you see that the iron filings have arranged them in a specific pattern. I mean, by looking at this, it seems as if everything is originating from here. Again, everything is originating from here. Something of that sort, right? That kind of impression you get when you look at this. But this was something which was actually performed. If you perform it even now, you can see this kind of pattern. So a pattern of this kind was found, and then it was concluded that this pattern, which is demonstrated by these iron filings, this represent the magnetic field, and each of these lines which represent the magnetic field, that they are known as magnetic field lines. So we will talk about that. So it was seen that magnetic field is a vector quantity. That means, I think you are aware of a scalar quantity and vector quantity. Scalar quantity is something which has only magnitude, no direction. And when I talk about a vector quantity, it has both magnitude. So when I talk about a vector quantity, it has magnitude plus direction. So that means if I talk about magnetic field, I not only talk about the strength of the magnetic field, that is how strong the magnetic field is, but I also need to talk about the direction of magnetic field. So in order to visualize magnetic field, came into picture magnetic field lines. So magnetic field lines were nothing but, they are also sometimes called as field lines. So magnetic field lines are a form of visual realization of magnetic field, that how magnetic field looks like. I mean, none of us can see magnetic field, right? It is just the region around the magnet where you can feel that magnetic effect. But in order to virtually realize it, how it looks like, magnetic field lines were represented. And from where did magnetic field lines originated? It originated from that iron filing experiment. When it was found that those iron filings arranged themselves in these specific patterns, So then it was told that, okay, so this means that there are lines in this form. The same thing was drawn like this. So there are lines in this form, and these lines represent a magnetic field, right? And these lines are known as magnetic field lines or field lines. Correct? Now, what was the direction of these magnetic field lines? The convention for the direction was taken as the direction was from North Pole to South Pole outside the magnet. That means it always originated from North Pole and it terminated to the South Pole. And what about inside the magnet? Inside the magnet, it was assumed that it went like this. That means these lines formed closed loops. That means it originated from north, terminated in south, and inside it the direction was from south to north. Similarly, this line also, so all these lines were like this. So that means outside the magnet, the direction of the magnetic field lines was from north to south, and inside the magnet, the direction was from south to north. So how did people conclude? I mean, how did people arrive at this conclusion? That was also found experimentally. For that also one experiment was performed, and then people concluded this fact. So we will look at that also. So till now, what did we study? What is magnetic field? It is region around the magnet where you can feel the effects of the magnet. Magnetic field is a vector quantity. In order to define magnetic field, you need the magnitude as well as direction. Now, how do we represent magnetic field? Magnetic fields are represented in the form of magnetic field lines. So how the magnetic field lines look like for a bar magnet? For a bar magnet, they are closed curves, closed continuous curves, and it was first demonstrated by an experiment performed with bar magnet and iron filings. So now let us look at the direction of the magnetic field lines experimentally. So how was this direction found out? So what was done was that a bar magnet was taken and it was placed like this, as you can see here, right? Then a small magnetic needle, which I was talking about, magnetic needle or compass, magnetic compass, whatever you call it, this compass was taken and it was placed at this position. So let us call this position as position 1. So when you place this needle in this position, what will happen? What will the needle do? The needle will point itself in the north-south direction, right? So since this is the north pole of the bar magnet, so the south pole of the needle came here and the north pole here, because unlike poles attract each other, right? So this is how the needle aligns itself. Now these 2 points, north and south, were marked. I mean, this entire experiment was being performed on a white sheet of paper. I mean, on a big white sheet of paper, you place a bar magnet and then you place a compass needle like this and you mark its south and north points. Now you remove the needle from here and try to place the needle on the next point in such a way that the new south is same as the old north. That means the new south pole should lie here and the north pole should lie somewhere here. So you have to place the needle here in such a way that now again the south pole points at this north pole. Let us suppose if this was my needle. So the needle will point like this. So this is my north and this is my south. Right? Now again I place the needle here in such a way that it points like this. So that is my purpose. I want its south pole to be here. I want the south pole now should be equal to the old north pole. Again, you place the needle in such a way that the south pole should point towards this new north pole, right? So, like that, it was observed that a pattern like this was formed. So, from this, it was concluded that the magnetic lines of force are of this pattern. So this experiment once again confirmed the shape of the magnetic field lines and also their direction. Right? So from here it was finally concluded that magnetic lines of force are magnetic field lines are closed continuous curves. They originate in North Pole and they terminate in South Pole. So now let us look at some of the properties of magnetic field lines. The first property being they form continuous closed loops. Continuous loops because they arise from North Pole, go to South Pole, and again inside also they go from South Pole to North Pole. So that means this is a continuous loop, this is also a closed loop. So that is why it is said that they form closed continuous loops. Tangent to magnetic field line at a given point specifies the direction of the net magnetic field at that point. So now these are my magnetic field lines. So what about the magnitude of the magnetic field at any point? Let us suppose if I say what is the magnetic field at this point, or what is the magnetic field at this point. So how do you calculate the magnitude of magnetic field at a specific point? It is nothing but, when I talk about magnetic field at a specific point, a tangent drawn to this curve. So tangent to this magnetic field line gives the direction of net magnetic field at this point. That means if I talk about this point, what is the tangent at this point? This is the tangent. So that means this is the direction of magnetic field at this point. Similarly, if I talk about this point, I draw a tangent here. So the direction of magnetic field at this point is this one. So similarly, if you draw for any point on a magnetic field line, draw a tangent, and that becomes the direction of net magnetic field at that point. Greater number of field lines per unit area, stronger the magnetic field. Let us suppose there is one magnetic field. Let us suppose we have two magnets. So now let us suppose in this magnet, the field lines look like this. That means the field lines are extremely crowded. There is another magnet for which the field lines look somewhat like this. So what is the difference between the two? In this, the field lines are very crowded. That means the number of field lines per unit area is more. So if the number of field lines is more, that means the magnetic field is stronger. So in this case, we say that this magnet is a stronger magnet than this magnet. So one is a stronger magnet than two. So that means greater number of magnetic field lines per unit area means that the magnetic field is stronger. That is, the strength of the magnet is more. Magnetic field lines never intersect. So as I mentioned, these magnetic field lines always form closed continuous loops and they never intersect. Now why don't they ever intersect? They never intersect because, as I mentioned in this second point, that whenever we look at any magnetic field line at any point, the tangent which is drawn to that point, that is the direction of magnetic field at that point, right? Now let us assume that two magnetic lines of force, two magnetic field lines intersect. Now what will happen at the point of intersection? What is the direction of net magnetic field at this point? You will try to draw a tangent to the magnetic field line. Now if you look at this magnetic field line, this is the tangent. If you look at this magnetic field line, this is the tangent. So that means you have two tangents for the same point. That means you have two direction of magnetic field at the same point. Is that possible? No, that is never possible. Right? Because at a particular point, there can be only one direction of net magnetic field. So this is the reason magnetic field lines can never intersect, because if magnetic field lines intersect, then at the point of intersection, there will be two directions of magnetic field, which is not possible, and therefore magnetic field lines never intersect. So these are some of the very important properties of magnetic field lines.
I hope you found the video useful. If you have a feedback to share, do not forget to write in the comment section. We would be more than happy to hear from you. And if you really found the video useful, do not forget to share it with your friends as well. I will meet you all very soon with a new video, with a new topic. Till then, stay home, stay safe, take care, bye-bye.